Hi everybody, back again, and this time I'm speaking to Darren Phillips from GFC. Hi Darren.
Hey, you all right?
How you doing, mate? Thanks very much for doing this with me. I'm really enjoying it. Now today, I thought let's talk about Thai rules and Muay Thai rules. We all go to shows. We all go, how the bloody hell did I lose that fight? I've no idea what's going on there. And who's better to ask, I think, than yourself? A few years ago, I did a judging course with yourself, which I spectacularly failed at. I was really bad at it, which apparently I'm not the only one that gets a bad score. But it is so tricky to understand the Thai rules when you're used to a different type of scoring system. Thankfully, I think I'm getting better at it, Darren. I seem to be getting a chance to watch a lot more fights these days, especially in lockdown, on the TV and such like. And I think I'm doing a better job these days. But would much rather everybody learn about scoring from yourself than me. So, Darren, tell me about why you ended up. What sparked your interest in scoring?
Well, it's a long but quick story. So obviously I started doing Thai boxing 37 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was never really any instruction on what scored. Yeah, this old, like, this beat this, this beat that. But it tended to be just the most aggressive person. They were all 3-round fights at the time. And I don't know if you remember in the good old days of AX kickboxing, I asked the question, why do Thais fight the way they do?
Yeah.
Why don't they do this, this and this? And I was inundated with answers from people that I thought, well, I know what they're talking about. And it made me think, well, it's kind of a different sport, and a lot of people said it's down to how the sport was actually scored. So I took the time to read the replies. In particular, Tony Myers sent me his first article, and when I read that, I thought, well, that makes loads of sense. And it also makes, I remember seeing Thais coming over and appear to not try very hard and then complain when they lost. And I'm thinking, well, you clearly lost that fight. And obviously you think about it, if there's a load of Thais in the corner saying they didn't lose the fight and a lot of English people saying you did, and it's Muay Thai, then you should be able to thinking, well, hang on a minute. But then when I looked at what the research Tony had done, well, yeah, he clearly won that fight, the Thai, and we got it wrong. So I started to look at more fights, apply what I was learning, spent a lot of time with Tony, but also spoke to a lot of other people as well. Spoke to a lot of Thais, people who spent time in Thailand, and came up, basically what Tony was saying is right. And we were just basically scoring it wrong. For whatever reason, a lot of people want to point blame or whatever and blah, 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 blah. Don't forget that I started 37 years ago, standing that 45 years ago, and they were fighting the odd Thai fight on a kickboxing show with kickboxing judges.
Yeah.
If probably tried to fight Muay Thai, they'd have probably never won a fight, and we wouldn't be here now because the sport would have just died a death there and then. But as more people went to Thailand, and one of the big problems, lots of people, they all go to Thailand, they all train, they all learn the techniques, but still no one's going saying, well, how do you actually score a fight?
Yeah.
And very few people actually sitting down having a conversation. So Tony was taking fighters to Thailand. These fighters were winning in Thailand, coming back to fighting in England, and they were losing. And he was going, what's going on? So that's what prompted him to do all this research, which I've basically nicked off of him. And even the same thing, like, I had a conversation with Kevin Harper, said obviously he'd been training 10, 15 years before he went to Thailand, and he couldn't understand the decisions. And he sat talking to two of the Thais that he was training with, and they were explaining to him scoring. And he thought, oh, God, yeah, we've got it wrong. We've completely moved back to front.
So give us like let's talk to like we're total novices, right? So we're talking to anybody who's never done Thai boxing before. What's the first of all, what's a kind of general rundown of the idea of the scoring system under Muay Thai rules, proper Muay Thai rules, and then maybe we can look at what the difference is to what we were doing before.
There are two really, really important aspects to Muay Thai scoring. Okay, is the most important thing about it is effect. Yeah, the most important aspect of Muay Thai scoring is effect, and linked into that is the fact that Muay Thai is scored holistically over the whole of a fight. So whilst there are 5 rounds, you do not win the Muay Thai fight by winning 3 out of those 5 rounds. Just like the same as you don't win a running race by winning 3 out of the 5 laps. Okay, you have to be the first one over.
That's a good analogy, yeah.
Yeah, the running race is the easiest one to understand it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tactics involved, and people say there's a billion arguments as to why it shouldn't be scored. It is, but the fact is, it is scored as it is. And if you want to change how it's scored, fine, but call it something else.
Yeah.
Because Muay Thai is a specific way of scoring fights that everybody in Thailand understands. Yeah. People will argue, oh, it's all for gambling. It doesn't matter why this scoring system has evolved, that everybody understands. Here's a scoring system that the sport is used by the people who designed the sport. Everybody understands it. To do it any other way is cheating.
Yeah, it's not the Muay Thai rules. Yeah,
it's not Muay Thai. Cheating.
And when you say you score the whole fight, you don't win if you say win the 3 rounds. What that means, and what I was surprised at the time, was that you can rescore. You can go back and rescore the first 2 rounds or even 3 rounds of a fight.
You can rescore any round you want on the scorecard at all. It doesn't make a difference whatsoever. What's important is that the end result is correct. So you've given the fight to the red or blue. Same thing with the differential between the two scores, 50, 47, 47, 49, 46, 42. It doesn't really make a difference so long as you have the right winner.
So just explain that. Just explain that 42, 42, 47. So if anybody doesn't know what that means.
Well, Muay Thai is kind of scored on a 10 points must system. So normally the winner of a round will get 10 points and then the loser of a round will get a lesser amount of points. Now, a quick aside is if we use the full amount of points that we've got to our, we would have loads of, it'd be very easy to score. We don't. We tend to use 10-9 to a loss, or 10-8 has been a count, 10-7 if there's been 2 counts or a really big loss of that round.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't get a 10-6 because that would probably mean that the fight had been lost at that point. So you're not down low. So then the points are added up if you fill in the cards round by round, and it tends to be 49, 47, 49, 48 is your normal score where somebody's won a round. Interestingly enough, in Thailand, in most of the stadiums, they don't even fill out the cards round by round. At the end of the fight, a lot of them, they can just go, well, close fight, 49, 48 to him, or 49, 47. There's probably a dozen judges in this country that can do that here now.
Yeah.
They don't need to fill out the rounds. What I say to every judge that we train is, fill out the rounds as best you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Pick that round. Make your comments. Always make your comments because it's always easier to explain it back to somebody who doesn't understand if you've got comments on there. But don't be afraid to go back and change around if you need to get the end result. That's why you tend to have the first round scored even on a scorecard, because you don't want to give away points too early and have to start chopping and changing them to get the end result. So Muay Thai fights start slowly while people are working at what they're doing and tend to finish a little bit quick and can often finish slowly in round 5 once the decision it's clear who's going to win the fight. But it is what it is. That's the way the sport.
Well, that's. I think your automatic thoughts go to what strikes score the most, and I think that's what people think about when you think about scoring. Oh, well, does this score more than this? But I remember you saying in the judging in the course that, for example, a low kick isn't necessarily going to score as much as a body kick, but if by the 4th round, those leg kicks, you've been putting them in, they start limping, they're starting to show effect, you can, as a judge, can then clearly see that those low kicks have been incredibly effective, which will give you a trigger to go back and rescore all those low kicks as being effective, against the body kick per se, if the effect's been more or better. Is that right?
More effective. If someone's kicking your leg and eventually you can't kick with the body, first 3 rounds might appear to be even. By the 4th round, the pace could have slowed and there may not be as many kicks landing. But the other guy now, who's been low kick, can't kick at all because his leg's absolutely booted off. You could score that round 4 to the guy who's been low kicking. It would have to be the rounds where the actual happens. Remember that the end result is what matters.
Yeah.
Well, I think where everybody goes wrong is they all think it should be like boxing. Well, you know what? It's not like boxing, because in boxing you don't kick a knee.
Yeah.
And you don't flinch. It's a different sport.
Yeah.
It's a bit like saying basketball and netball. I don't think you can't dribble with a ball in netball, can you?
No, that's right. No, it's badminton and tennis, two different sports.
Let's call it netball. Well, it's not, is it? Because you dribble with it. Basketball, 2 different sports. They might look alike.
Yeah, sure.
The skill set could pass over from one to the other.
Yeah.
But it's 2 different sports.
No, it makes sense.
The thing is, when you talk about what strike scores more, so everything has the potential to be effective.
Yeah.
You can win a fight with any technique, boxing, kicking. The easiest and quickest way, and this sometimes is oversimplified, it has to be explained a bit better, is that everything can be effective. Punch, elbow, and low kick have to be shown to be effective.
Right.
Knee and body kick have to be shown to not be effective, to not score.
Right.
But a straight knee and a body kick that lands will score unless you prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. By countering back with an equally strong or stronger technique. Whereas a punch or a kick and even an elbow, because I used to think elbows were the highest scoring technique, but they're not. they have to be shown to be effective. So like a punch might have to knock someone down to the floor, a kick might make someone's leg wobble, you know.
A cut for an elbow strike, that kind of thing.
Cuts are an awkward thing, because even you can still have your head sliced off and be winning the fight.
Yeah.
The only real reason to elbow someone is to cut them or potentially knock them out. And then the hope that the cut is that bad that the fight will be stopped. But these days, fight cuts have to be really bad for a fight to be stopped.
So how would you score an effective elbow then? What would a judge say is that was an effective elbow?
It'd have to really knock the person off balance or make them turn away.
Yeah.
So you've got the indications of effect is you can't always tell straight away. But a clear indication of effect is if someone is thrown to the floor. So an elbow that knocks someone down, even if they get straight back up again, that would be effective. An elbow that concussed someone or made them lose position. So there's a big talk about loss of position, and I can cover a big thing that people get confused on with loss of position. It's dead easy. So we get hit with an elbow and they lose position, move backwards unnecessarily, or even power the elbow. That elbow would score.
Yeah.
Stop them from fighting.
Because it's
proven about the whole Muaythai is you have to be able to fight. You've got to be fighting.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that kind of, there's a couple of questions that people sent in, and these two questions kind of fit into that. So I'll just ask them now. I think you might have just answered it, to be honest. Somebody's asked if you make a contact with a viable connection, with a connection to a striking area, a scoring area, is there a difference in score between one that lands cleanly on the area, but one that lands clearly with a viable reaction?
Well, one that lands clearly on the area should have a viable effective action. If it doesn't, it probably isn't as strong as it should be. So a good scoring technique has to be delivered from balance, hit strongly, and return back to balance.
Right.
Okay, return back to balance is one of the things that people forget about it, not just when it comes to scoring a fight, but in training, full stop.
Yeah.
So if someone kicks up and kicks you low, say head kick, and it hits you in the neck and you don't move at all, it won't have as much effect as higher score as someone kicks head kick, hits your arm and staggers you across the ring. That would be a higher scoring technique than one that just landed, for example, cleanly in the neck but showed no effect at all.
So you kick someone in the arm in a zone that you wouldn't necessarily score on, and if they move and you knock them down, they're like, that was an effective strike, even though it isn't in one of the areas that you would necessarily say about scoring. That's interesting. That's an interesting
whole
point.
body's a scoring target.
Cool. Right, there's another one.
Like the ABA with the vest on. The arms are just as effective.
Right. That's a good point. That's a new thing for me to take to the table. Another one to do with, again, the difference between scoring is there what's the difference in score, for example, between an effective, again, I think you probably answered it, an effective teep versus a body kick? So if you land a body kick and they don't block it, does the body kick outscore an effective teep by which they move back and fall
the word is in the question. It's effective. It's effective. So if a body kick hits you clean, doesn't move you, but you don't counter back, the body kick's still scoring well.
That's
right.
Body
kick hits you clean, you counter back with a 1-2 punch, it might connect, but if it connects and you don't move, the body kick is still ahead.
Yeah.
If a front kick hits you and you go down to the floor, it's a very high scoring technique. If a front kick hits you and you walk straight through it, it's not scoring technique at all.
So it's a good high scoring.
If you're using a front kick to stop someone from attacking, you're kind of going, well, it isn't effective, so let's see what happens.
Okay.
No, you don't. What you're not doing as a rule as well is a lot of people think is you're adding up how many times you've been hit. Do you know? I'm going, oh, he's been hit 5 times, he's been hit 6 times, he must be winning. And there is that thing on the course where I think Tyler Pinsenchai is saying when he was fighting, he'd kind of have a point system in his head. So low kick might be 1 point, for example. Punch would be 1 point. Body kick and knee, they'd be 2 points. But a good head kick would be 3 points, for example. But it's not overly accurate and it's a bit oversimplifying, to be honest. You just need to look at effect. Visualization, so visual causes of effect, visual losses of position, and then this is why the latter end is more important. Who's still strong? Who's still fighting at the end of it? Yeah,
that's kind of the way that I explain it, and hopefully this is the right way of explaining it, or a reasonable way, is because I'm still not confident enough. I'm going to be honest with you to be able to go and use nailed on tactics in a fight, as in to do with the round system. I don't trust what's going to happen enough. Like, even if I fully understand, then I'm still a little bit untrustworthy to like give a little bit away. And you've done enough by the last round. Don't get yourself knocked out. You're just going to have to go out and knock their heads off. It's kind of pretty much, make sure you win it. But I've lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about? What was the last thing you were talking about? Scoring.
Adding up points as you go along, and who finishes the fight stronger at the end of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I tend to say to my students, it's like the way I see it is like, who could carry on if they were to carry on another few rounds? Who's likely to come out on top? So if you've started picking up in the last 2 rounds and you've got more, and you look like you've got more to go, and you're scoring better, you've got better balance, and you're using the ring better. Even if the other person has come out all guns blazing and fired in, as long as, you know, there's no 8 counts and such like a number of 8 counts, then that's kind of the easiest way as I can see it.
It's a pretty good way to explain it. I remember doing a tournament once on the Contender Asia, and one of the fights at the end of the 3-round fights, which I hate, one of the fights at the end of it was scored, and it was a draw, and it was a draw. It was a draw, simple as.
Yeah. And
I had to make a decision. So I just looked and thought, well, who could do the extra round if they needed to here?
Yeah.
And funny enough, I gave it to the guy who I thought could do the extra round. But then they did an extra round and the other guy won.
All right. Well, I suppose that's what
that's an aside. Should get that for myself.
Well, you know, but nobody's perfect, are they? You don't everything get
no.
right.
Listen, I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day. If you take every possible mistake that could have been made as a referee and a judge, there's half a dozen of us, probably the top 5-6 referees in this country between us have made every single mistake.
Yeah.
But then if you walk in a gym and you're perfect, you won't stick around. How many of us haven't dropped our right hands when we threw a left hook or brought our feet together after a kick? You're going to make a mistake. It's the only way you learn.
Yeah, and you never stop learning, you know. It's like I definitely know more about Muaythai scoring since we had. In fact, we got you round, didn't we, to my house? I thought, I don't know what's going on here. I'm failing this course. I failed it. I need to make sure my students know what's going on. So we got you round to explain to the students what was going on. But since then, you know, I definitely feel like I'm in a better place with regards to that. But again, I'm not ashamed to say so. It's just how it rolls. And now probably know more than a lot of people in relation to Thai scoring. So another
thing is obviously Thai boxing's in this country for a very long time, and we're all sort of like come off from different people who had our own perception, and obviously a lot of people came in from different sports.
Yeah,
the perception of what it should be, and then the actual Muay Thai scoring has not been around as long, so there's a big resistance from an awful lot of people, especially gyms that had success using what they were doing, to want to change.
Yeah.
Now, when I learned to score, I had to look at the way I was training, thinking, well, if this is how you score a fight, this training isn't right. You have to change the way you train if your score's different. Some people just don't want to do it.
Well, that's it. It's I mean,
there's a whole heap of other arguments as well. They say it's not as exciting. It's, you know, blah 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 blah. But they're all different arguments.
I mean, you say that it's not as exciting. I mean, I think something that you said you get asked quite a lot is, do you think the scoring system impacts on the popularity of the sport? You know, in this country, do you think that has a negative impact?
I think it's a popular excuse that people use. So people don't want to change. They say things like it's not as exciting. It should be more like this. It should be over 3 rounds, etc. I've been to one of the biggest K1 shows outside of Asia, if you like, in Milan, and I watched loads of K1 fights. I thought garbage. I don't think it was any good. I don't think it was exciting. I thought it was handbags at 10 paces. And I'm talking really good K1 fighters.
Yeah.
I love Muay Thai. It's a niche sport. It will always be a niche sport in this country. It's never going to be massive. Get over it. You either like it or you don't. And here's the best way I can describe it. Everyone wants to change it to better suit what their perception of what is exciting would be. Well, I think it's exciting as it is. I can't stand K1. I think it's boring as hell. I don't think there's as much skill involved in it as there is in Muay Thai. I think Muay Thai is a thinking man's sports game. Loads of people say, you should do this, this, and this, and this to make Muay Thai more interesting. Well, you know what? I like chicken jalfrezi. Yeah? But a lot of people around me, they don't like it. They say it's too spicy. They wish it was creamier and they didn't have mushrooms in it.
Yeah.
So I made it creamy. I didn't put mushrooms in it. It wasn't spicy. Do you know what I made?
Chicken korma. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chicken jalfrezi. I wasn't selling chicken jalfrezi to anybody more. I was selling something else. I couldn't call it a chicken jalfrezi. I wanted chicken jalfrezi.
Yeah.
Take the clinch out of Muay Thai, take the score and change the score and do it over 3 rounds, make it all about aggression. It's not Muay Thai anymore.
No, it makes, to me, if I'm trying to not use any of my own opinions, Because I guess they all I just kind of go off logic on a lot of the things that I think is about a lot about logic. And logically, why would you have a different scoring system in Thai boxing to the system that the Thais use in Thai boxing?
Well, there's a reason.
The reason being, I guess, is because, like you said earlier on, and this is where people have been doing it for a while, not as long as you mind, fell down, is because we had the different scoring systems early on, because it's a bit more kickboxing based. Like my gym's still called Redkite School of Thai and Kickboxing, but ultimately I just teach Thai boxing. Some of the moves are kickboxing moves. I could put somebody in for a kickboxing fight if they wanted to, but ultimately it's Thai boxing. But that's the way it was. My gym was Thai and kickboxing, whereas now we've got much more grassroots, clean Muay Thai gyms coming through. So logically, why would you not use the Muay Thai scoring system?
There isn't Muay Thai. I mean, I fought kickboxing rules. I fought kickboxing rules because I couldn't get Thai fights. So yeah. I never blame anybody for the way it was. It's just the way it had to be. But we have the information here to change. And don't get me wrong, it is changing massively. I mean, within the junior system, like with the shows, for example, Pete Spencer does and stuff like that, the Muay Thai is amazing because they know what they need to do, how to score. It's fantastic. Some of the juniors out there, the skill levels are through the roof. And even people who have been resistant in the past have accepted certain things, and you can see the skill levels are improving all the time. So here's my quick analogy, right? Reasons why. I'll come back and answer your other question because I never did answer that.
That's all right.
Okay, why would you change the Muay Thai scoring? Okay, I don't think you should, right, for a couple of reasons. But ultimately, you want to fight a Thai. If you want to be good, your ultimate is going to be to fight a Thai. So you've got two choices. You can bring a Thai over here and fight him over here, and you can go to Thailand and fight him over there. Stick to how we used to score, right? Go to Thailand. If you don't knock him out, you get him beat, big style.
Yeah.
Bring a Thai over here, but use our scoring system, and you might win on points. But have you really won? Well, because you've used a different scoring system. But the Thais used to. That's why the Thais have sat there going, "Oh, I've just body kicked him all over the place. He's nothing but punch and low kick. How has he won that fight?"
Well,
that is cheating.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
It's not. It's not a realistic assessment of the best fighter, is it?
I don't want to lose. I don't want to win 100 fights not correctly. I want to fight correctly.
There's so many gyms and there's over the world now. There's so many competitions over the world. We're getting over to Thailand, competitions in Thailand so often that it doesn't make any sense, does it? If you're going to go and fight in Thailand, if we're going to fight against people in Australia and or Korea or whatever, I just made some names up there, or Thailand, we all need to be knowing what's going on, don't we? We don't want to have different rules.
Who would enter into sport internationally if they didn't know the rules?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to enter the World Cup, but when I play football, I can pick up and run with the ball. That's not football, mate. Oh, but
no.
It is where I
What would you is it getting a little bit better? Is it getting more
a lot better.
Are we getting more people kind of understanding why you're promoting that and actually kind of going down that line?
I think what we've got is what we said a while back would eventually happen is you've got people going that way. You've got those people who want to do Muay Thai working together. Then you've got a lot of people who'd rather do Muay Thai, K1, kickboxing, call it whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
In the 1980s, they probably still wear shell suits rolled up to the knees.
You're picking on them now. They're allowed to choose that if they want.
Or they can wear what they want. I don't.
And they can wear shell suits.
Yeah.
I had a belting shell suit.
If they wanted to go around doing that on those promotions and training that way, everything else, don't come onto a Muay Thai promotion, lose on points, clear losing points, and still kick off.
Well, that's it. I mean,
I don't take fighters to shows that got XYZ judges on because I know that unless we beat the living daylights out, we're going to lose. So
that's the same.
I want to take them and then complain.
That's what I try and stick to the shows where I know how they're going to score. The ones that I know that they're going to score Thai rules, because it's too complicated. There's enough shows for me to take people to put people on that is going to be using the consistent the consistent scoring that I'm teaching, rather than I know I can go to a certain show and it's like, well, they're really convenient, it's a really nice show, but I don't know how you win on one of those shows. I mean, I kind of do, but then even then I'm like, I don't. So
So
I'm
why
just
would
like,
you do it?
why complicate things? Unless it's for a bit of practice and just for a bit of fun, you know, and you should go in and, you know, have a good duff up of as a practice or something. But it's, I just try and stick to, personally, so as not to complicate issues too much, stick to the same types of, where everybody's scoring tie rules basically. But they'll call it tie rules. That's the problem that I've got. They'll say in the beginning, you know, this round, this fight has been fought tie rules, and you're like, but it's not. It's like you're not. It's not tie rules. It isn't. So it's just it was too confusing for me. I don't need anything to be any more confusing than it already is. So that's what we're doing there. I mean, so you think it's getting a little bit better, a little bit more consistent. I think you're quite right. You know, you do see a little bit of fractions going off, and I think that's fine. And I don't mind what anybody does. Yeah, I don't mind anybody. People say to me, "Oh, he's such a what's Wing Chun? Is that good? Is, you know, what do you do?" I think it's all great. I think everybody should do a martial art or a sport or a combat sport or something to do with self. Everybody should do one. I don't care which one it is. I love Thai boxing. I want everybody to try Thai boxing. But Wing Chun, I think that looks good. I'd want to have a go at that. Judo, done some judo. That's good. I just think everybody should do one, and it's like I'm not going to slate anybody else's choices, but it's a case of accepting, isn't it? If you're going to go on to a show with the scoring Muay Thai, then you've got the rules, the Muay Thai scoring technique. You've got to try and win that fight using that scoring technique, haven't you?
100%.
Yeah.
Not complicated, is it?
No.
It's not brain science, is it? It's not rocket
I know.
science.
And I think what it is we're so used to these days. We're given rules, aren't we? We're not allowed to have any personal opinion, or you're not allowed to do anything off your own back. You can't use your own judgment. So teachers, you can't use your judgment in school. Policemen can't use the judgment. They have to go through a massive tick list of all the things that they're allowed to do. You can't say this, you can't do that. This is the rule. You mustn't give this advice. You can't do that, blah, blah, blah. So I guess with this way of scoring, a lot of it is perception based on the idea, isn't it? So you are having to use your knowledge and your perception, your understanding of what was effective, what wasn't. But that's why you have three, isn't it? That's why you have three judges.
The thing with Muay Thai scoring in particular is it's got a higher level of consistency than just about any other sport, which is down to perception. Yeah, I mean, again, Tony has.
Would you say so? Yeah.
So, like, even taking, for example, into gymnastics or springboard diving.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You know,
that is actually, isn't it?
A higher level of consistency. It's clearer. Just jumping back to one of your earlier questions, and I completely glossed over it, is when you talk about the scoring system making it complicated for the general public to understand, and that's what's holding it back.
Oh,
that's not true. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. So I've never, ever had a problem explaining how Muay Thai scoring to a member of the general public, and they've always understood it straight away.
Yeah.
Particularly those who've never done a combat sport. Those people who are interested in it. And we've actually done what we've done, me and Tony, is we've took people who've never done any combat sport whatsoever, and we've put them on the judging course, explained it all, give them fights to score, and you know, they've all passed, and that includes primary school children.
Yeah.
And then they say another argument, okay, so I've also explained Muay Thai scoring to a lot of professional boxers.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot with professional boxers, including world champions. And when you explain it to the difference, you know, they all get it, and most of them turn around and say, that's a better way to score a fight.
That's interesting, isn't it? I remember you saying that was my only point of relief when I'm like, oh my God, how did I do so badly on this test? It's like, I thought I'd listened carefully and I'd understood what you were saying, but literally applying it to, it's fighting against what you already knew before.
Fighting what you already know, what you already
exactly.
think.
And you luckily you kind of named a few people else that had, I'm not going to say that had failed on the first attempt, but they've all been around for ages doing the old scoring system, and it's like decompartmental.
Tends to be the longer you've been around, the harder it is for you to pass it.
It was a relief on that front. But yeah, it makes sense to me that it makes sense that somebody who hasn't got anything to compare it to or isn't trying to change it in the mind would pick it up much more quickly. And in some ways, that's why I thought this was a good opportunity to like do something online that like my students and other students can watch and hear it said in a more clear and consistent way than me just saying, well, you know, the way that I see it is the person who looks like they can win at the end, you know, if there's no clear, you know, can carry on, if there's no clear winner or whatever, is the winner. So the person who could do more, carry on and do more damage in the next round. So I think that's, I I think it's been super helpful, this. I have got another couple of questions. These are a little bit more complex. Again, it's all about scoring again. So somebody wanted
to
yeah. Somebody wanted to clarify if a strike to the rear of the leg after they've turned them. So you've turned them, you've got the back, and would a strike to the rear of the leg, is that going to be a lower score then at that point than a strike to the back, or is it automatically assumed that once you've got the back, you've just done a big score anyway?
Well, here's an interesting question to ask back. If you turn someone's back,
yeah,
why kick the back of the leg if you can kick the body? If you can kick the back, why kick the back of the leg? Turning someone and striking to the back is a massive score. It's a humongous score. So why would you lessen it by kicking the legs? Yes, it's less than kicking the back.
Yeah.
If you know that, if you turn someone, the whole point why it's such a big score is you turn them, you've proved you are that strong, you've put them in a position where they cannot defend themselves. You are that dominant over them. So why would
vulnerable.
Why just touch the back? It's one of the few things that sometimes will pull back is a kick or a knee to the back. Because they don't need to, so sometimes they won't whack it in.
Yeah. You know, there's no point in busting somebody's kidneys, is there?
Fight.
Yeah.
You know,
right, cool. Well, that answers that perfectly, I think. The other one that he said was how much. I have to read my own handwriting, and this is the tricky bit. Okay, how much score for a face teep? As in Thailand, it's deemed as rude due to the Buddhist religion, you know, because the feet are recognised as the dirtiest part of the body. But we all like a good face teep, don't we? You know, we see a face, you're like, oh my God, it's a face teep. So what kind of score are we looking at there in relation to the conflict with the cultural beliefs?
I don't think the conflict in the cultural belief comes into it.
No.
I think it's still down to how effective it is.
Yeah.
If you kick someone, teep them in the face and they move backwards or they stop fighting for it or whatever, then it's still going to be a high score. If it has zero effect, it's not going to be that high a score. Is it like to annoy everybody? Is it like to annoy your opponent? Yeah. Is it showboating? It's a little bit like saying in boxing, if you drop your hand, stick your chin out and then jab somebody in the face, it's score more than if you jab them in the face.
Yeah.
Kind of showing a bit of dominance, but it's not particularly that massive a high score.
No.
But the cultural difference won't impact on the scoring of it. It's how it makes that fight.
That's it. Right, and I've got one more. This is the one I was reading before, Darren, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to write this down. I'm just going to read it to you. Let's have a look. I think this might made up of various different sections. Okay. Ever caught anyone as they were going down through the ropes? ? Anyone caught? So going through the ropes and then you land the shot. I'm guessing. I don't know. It just says ever caught anyone as they were going down through the ropes. I'm guessing. Will it score? Will it score? I think that's the. I'll tell you what. I'll read the whole thing. Right. Ever caught anyone as they were going down through the ropes? ? Is it against the rules to spike someone onto their head while swinging someone down? Okay, I think I get what that means.
Okay.
And then there's another one. Also, striking the neck is legal. Just read this, laughing face. You'd have to be holding your hands by your sides, but still. Oh, they're just saying, hey, just read that striking on the neck's legal, and I didn't realise that. So yeah, it's the first two parts of that, really.
Right. Okay. So if you've turned someone off balance and they're falling through the ropes and you're able to follow and hit them with one continuous movement, it's not a foul. Again, it's a high scoring technique.
Right.
If they're already going through the ropes, but it has to be a continuous movement.
Yeah.
I can give you an example of that where I've actually disqualified somebody when it wasn't a continuous movement.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't matter if they're falling through the ropes, if you've just hit the floor, whatever. If you turn them and you're following up and you hit them, it's a high score. It's totally legal.
Right. Yeah.
When you spike somebody as they're going down. Now, I actually warned somebody throwing a spike elbow on somebody as they would just hit the floor, and I said it wasn't a foul. But again, spike elbow is actually not that strong a technique unless you actually manage to land it right in the middle of the skull and crack somebody's skull open, which is why it's banned when you were saying it's banned under ISK rules. If you've thrown someone to the floor and they're going down, why spike elbow them when it's so much easier to knee him in the face?
Yeah.
And that will have more effect and score more.
Yeah.
It comes down to, if you know your sport and you know your shot choice, you won't be asking these daft questions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they are different people with different things.
Different people teach different things. So it's not a foul to throw a spike elbow to somebody as they are going down.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're having to lean down to get to them. It's just, again, it's
just that you would beg your question, why would you do that when you could knee him in the face? Which is exactly what I would say as well. But it's you've given the answer to the question. Nevertheless, that was there. That's
for striking the neck. The people don't have to have their hands down by their elbows to strike into the neck, because you can strike around the back of the neck. So the technique that Ty used to teach me to go 1-2 left hook, and then 1-2 and come round behind the back of the head. Strike the back of the head before him there, which is a completely legal technique. So you can.
I was talking about throat, but I'm assuming we can't do throat. I mean, I've never really taught anything striking to the neck. I'm guessing throat would be bad, you know.
Within Muay Thai in particular, you've got what they call, like, within the rules of the sport, encatchment, which like falls into something like striking to the throat. You wouldn't purposely do that. Then it's a sport. You only want to kill people. It's like the kicking to the knee.
Yeah.
It's totally legal to kick to the knee, but would you kick hard enough if you could try and break somebody's leg?
No, that's again what I say as well. We don't do teep to knee unless it's unless you're sparring with somebody with control, and you know that they can pull it out, and it's not gonna, you know what I mean, a bit of fun. But I tend to not think it's worth risking to end somebody's career with a teep to knee just for winning a fight. Anybody could do that, stamp on somebody's knee, really, couldn't they? Doesn't show a great deal of skill. Is there anything else? That's kind of like, I've got all the questions. I think there's probably, I tell you what, aggression, that's always a good one. Everybody wants to say, I always say, this is what I say, aggression isn't going like that with your face and losing your temper. It's more about dominating the ring and dominating the fight. How would you describe it, and is that accurate?
Aggression, well, it depends what you mean by aggression. To me, just means the person who's likely to attack more, you know. So okay, I've heard people, again, we'll add a couple of other things into it now, okay, because I've heard people say that he should have won that fight because he was the aggressor, okay. He should have won that fight because he had more varied techniques. Mm-hmm. He should have won that fight because he threw more combinations, okay. Mm-hmm. So the aggressor is the person that attacks more. Okay? More combinations, obviously, varied technique is obviously. You can't win a fight for any of those three reasons. Those three reasons could allow you to win a fight.
Yeah.
Okay, but you still have to do anything like that with aggression, with effect.
Yeah.
You can't use those three reasons as a reason to give someone a fight. So you can't say, well, you can actually with aggression, but it comes down to like the last 5% of the fights. Both have been effectively aggressive. Both have been controlled the ring. Both of them have shown good balance. Neither one was particularly tired. They're both still fighting at the end of the fight. There's been no massive big swears. You have to decide in a way, well, who did actually push the fight. So it's when it's come right down to practically everything.
Yeah.
And then the only thing after that if you had to use it, would be who committed less fouls. But more combinations and variation of technique does not in itself mean you win a fight. It might enable you to win a fight by scoring, but that doesn't mean you get it. So I have had people write on scorecards better combinations and more varied technique. In hindsight now, I go back to them and say, you can't do that. That's not a good enough reason to give. You know,
if they were joint on points, but there was somebody, if they were joint on points, but there was one of them that clearly used a more bigger variety of techniques or varied techniques, would that clinch it on a draw or no? It just, it's not enough.
Someone can throw one technique all the way through and you can throw 12 different techniques all the way through. At the end of the fight, they both had as much effect and themselves equal. You can't give it to that person throwing more technique, different technique. You know, I remember years ago somebody was talking about Yod Sinclair, actually, and a very, very well respected instructor, and he was saying, what's the big thing about Yod Sinclair? All he's got is a left kick, but he keeps winning fights.
Yeah,
so you're going to fight knowing you're going to fight this guy who's primarily going to probably throw 75% left roundhouse kick to the body, and he's still beating you. What does that say?
He's got a really good left kick. Really good.
Yeah. So that goes to show how little some people still understand about Muay Thai. You know, you don't have to throw. Yeah, you can throw. I mean, and if you are you've got more than one thing. Obviously, it's going to enable you to win fights. But combination themselves. One of the questions that Tony Myers asked me when he passed me to go and present the course, he asked me loads of questions that people would ask on that. And he asked me, he said, imagine trying to answer this one. So I said, I've got a fighter and he likes to fight and he likes to attack with lots of boxing and elbow combinations, but he tends to lose against people who are throwing single shots. Why is that? Well, it's a law of nature. The more shots you throw, the less powerful they're likely to be. And it's easier to be more effective with 1 or 2 shots than it is to be effective with 5 and 6 shots put together.
Yeah.
So, and also from a judge's point of view, you're more likely to see 1 or 2 clear shots thrown landed effectively than someone going, looking like they're having an epileptic fit. You just want to chuck them in the bath with your washing. Sorry if anybody's epileptic. Yeah. So there are loads of things that, if you look into scoring, that can help you train fighters. So we talked about this, like your house was loss of position, and we won't go into the fight, but giving up position unnecessarily. So you've got a situation where someone might be aggressive, they're landing, and we'll just go boxing for like 3-4 punches really hard. They're really obviously hurting the other person. But the other guy replies back with a jab, and when you're hit with a jab, you step back away. You've given away all those points you may have landed by moving backwards. If it was boxing, you'd still be ahead. You might be ahead under kickboxing and K1. I don't know. I'm not interested. No intention of ever learning how to score. Only interested in Muaythai and boxing a little bit. Okay? But if you move backwards unnecessarily from an exchange, not in control, so I'm not talking sliding backwards in guard ready to kick. I'm talking step backwards, bring your feet together, and put your hands back together and reset. You've just told everybody in that room that punch had effect on me.
Yeah.
Now, it might not have done. It might not have done, and it's just something you do in training. But if you know the judges are going to deem that as having an effect, if you do that, would you then go and do it? No.
Yeah, that's something I changed with what I teach since the judging seminar. I always talk to reset, and I bring the foot back into a good stance and just show balance. But I remember, you said that can show that you're almost like you're backing off, or it's showed some effect, even if it was sound like right. We reset, but we don't necessarily reset back. We might reset forward, or do you know what I mean? So I did
come from a return to a balanced position, and basically your feet in the line is not a balanced position. And a lot of people do it. I remember a conversation with someone years and years and years ago, and this guy took on board what we're saying, which is one of the good things. Is that his lad kept getting hit with front kicks, and they weren't bothering him. But every time he hit with a front kick, he'd step back, reset his feet, and then go on and attack.
Yeah.
So we give him points away. If those front kicks aren't having any effect on you, counter them. We don't know what's going on. If it's simple, if something hits you and it's not very powerful, it doesn't bother you, counter it. Okay, because you can see then it clearly wasn't bothering you. So many times you see people get the ring and say, the body kicks weren't hurting me. Well, you never counted any of them. Well, they weren't hurting me. Well, we didn't know that. If it's not hurting you, counter it. Yeah. And then we know it's not hurting you.
Yeah. If there's any question in your mind, you've got to give the judges no reason to question it, have you? That's it. Make sure that they don't.
A lot of these people come along and they complain about every single show, every single decision they have that goes against them all the time. I'm convinced that all the judges have got it in for them. I said, well, if you've all got it in for you, just do what you can do so that we can't give it to the other person. Yeah, I absolutely hate you. I never want any one of you fighters to ever win. If you give me any excuse whatsoever, and I'll give it to the guy. To do everything in your power to stop me from doing that.
Yeah.
If that's how you have to think about it, you think about it like that because that'll work for you. It's not the truth at all.
No, but worst, extreme scenario with somebody who's with less morals. So is there? I think we've covered quite a lot of stuff there that I think people will be useful to people that don't already know. And again, it's good for me just to have a little catch back up and just check that I'm still on the right wavelength and such like. Is there anything else, Darren, that you think is important to mention or you really want to mention to do with the scoring system, or do you think we've managed to kind of cover a lot of?
I think we've covered most of it there. What I would say to anybody, it's the same old thing, and you know what? In all the time I've said this, only 2 people have took me on it. If you don't understand the decision that's been given to you in a fight, get all the video if you can and fetch it to us, and we'll talk you through it.
Yeah.
I say 2 people have only, but I can only think of one off the top of my head, and I'll give his due. This guy did not get the decision at all. He rocked up with the fighter's mother and said, "Can you talk me through this decision?" I said, well, don't tell me who's won. Don't tell me who your fighter is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what he's winning, what he's scoring in this fight, and I'll tell you why. I went through the whole fight, and the person went, "Oh yeah, do you know what?" I said, "Right, that person's clearly won." "All right." I said, "Why?" I said, "Well, that's not my fighter. That fighter is." That's the way the decision was, and I thought it was wrong. I said, "But listening to what you say, and I understand why it was given that way. You can't do any more than that."
But then you were able to, because he asked, you were then
Yeah,
able to
you should
explain.
always ask politely, because you know what people don't want when they've sat there. Don't forget, judging is a thankless task. You don't get paid not to do it. We do it because we think it makes the sport better, not because we want our names in headlights. I don't care if anybody knows my name. I'm not in the least bit interested. I fell into it. I opened my big mouth as usual and said I was doing it wrong. People said to me, "Well, you do it then." So I did.
Yeah.
And did it better than everybody else.
Well, there you go. Even though
I found
it's
myself
still
all of a sudden
myself.
to the nipples and everything else. The thing is, I don't really understand that. Can you explain it to me? Then we'll always go through it. When you come, you're a load of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. Every time you come here, you rob me. I'm not really inclined to explain anything to you.
Yeah,
You know, like,
I also
in
think
the last Shockhouse show, somebody I get on really, really well. They had a fighter on. They thought their fighter had won. They asked me afterwards. I come in and get the decision, and I gave them a quick brief. Well, it wasn't a brief. It's quite a long explanation as to reasons why. And they read it back and said, you know, that makes loads of sense and it's really simple.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I know what to work on from now on.
And I think what the important, I think a good thing for coaches and also the team and the crowd and people that come in to support fighters, it shows in relation to the judging and there's always results that you don't agree with. I think it's important to not go and ask the question immediately. As soon as like walk out the ring and then go over and say, why the bloody level? I think, you know, you're going to go back, got to chill out, wait for the judges to get a moment, wait for yourself to chill out and then go and ask, because nothing's gonna, including the crowds. You know, you can get really aggressive crowd members and people shouting abuse and all kinds of stuff, which I get it. Everybody's passionate and want the fight.
I can forgive the crowds because most of them don't know anything about Thai boxing. They've come to watch the mate, but really coaches, you should know better by now.
Yeah, give yourself half hour to calm down and get the gloves off. And
it's like one of the fights I stopped on Yoko. Different thing. I stopped it, and everyone was really fed up that stopped the fight. It was really, really bad cut. The guy was been knocked down twice already. It was getting really, really dangerous. And I started thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get some grief out of that. And everyone was furious when I stopped it. When I went back up to the gym after an hour later, I said, "Am I all right?" Yeah, thanks. You did the right thing. We're all calmed down.
Well, the thing is, you know, there's nobody else closer to that cut than you, is there? There's the guy that they're fighting, and then there's the person that they're fighting, and then there's you, isn't there? So ultimately, you've got to
know when one's dangerous, when it's not dangerous. And the thing is, what you've got to remember is the referee's first and priority job is the safety of the fighters.
Yeah, and you get a lot of work, Darren, don't you? You get Yock out and you get a lot of shows, and I think that's because people do trust. You want your referee, you want to know that your referee is going to look after you, you know. You want to know that your referee is going to look after your fighters. If they've got a cut, you know, you don't, or they're on the back foot, they've had a couple of 8 counts, you just want them to, you want to know that your referee is keeping a proper good eye on what's going on and looking out for the fighter's safety as well as looking for a good fight, you know. And that's, I think,
you've got to remember as well, like, NC classes, no one's getting paid, and you're in fights on Saturday and won't work on Sunday. Do you really need to have your face hanging off with concussion?
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
No, there's more CNN class fights to do. You know, that's where I see you most of the time. That's as far as where that we haven't got as many fighters that go up into a higher level. But yeah, you know, you don't want to go to work the next day with a concussion and a black eye. You still want to win, absolutely, but not at the risk of
your own health.
Serious injury. Exactly. So that was ace, that, mate. I think that would be really useful to people, and I really appreciate it. Again, really cool. Thanks a lot, Darren. Star man.
Just one other thing as well. If anybody's got any questions that they want to ask, just drop me a line on Facebook.
Sure. And I'm wondering as well what I was going to say, and perhaps if as a result of watching this, people have got any questions in relation to what you've said, maybe we could do another one where we can come back in a few weeks or a month or whatever, and if anybody wants to post some questions on YouTube or on Facebook, take them directly to Darren or to myself, and maybe me and Darren will hook up again and do another chat, and we'll just go through the list of questions. Controversial, make it controversial if you want. Think, hey, Darren, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you've got a good reason as to why you think that is, you know, let us know, and then we'll put the question to him. Or we could even get you on Zoom. We could even get another little screen on the side there with another person, couldn't we? Another couple of people.
We don't escalate to now. The thing about questions, like is asking questions is a better way to learn than have someone come on and preach to you. And the questions that people ask, more people have got them.
Yeah.
People don't want to ask. Well, I don't really. That sounds deaf. So fire your question over to me and or Rachel.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's more people asking that same question.
Definitely.
So we'll do that. We'll come together. We can go through a list of questions. Anybody wants to get more, readdress the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because one of my students said, I don't know if this is a silly question or not, but this, and it's not a silly question because
there's no
want to know the answer.
Question.
That's it, yeah. And unless it's about turning and kicking the leg, because you said that was a daft thing to do.
Not silly,
Darren.
it's just
I'm sticking up for him now. Right, let's wrap this up, mate. Thanks so much, pal. Yeah, get those questions in, and we'll look at maybe doing another one to answer some of those questions. Thanks very much, mate. Stay safe with your family. Everybody stay safe at home. Keep doing running and getting outside as much as you can and getting a bit of sunshine if there is any, and then we'll all come out the other side with better, clear mindsets, I think, with better, clear rules on Muay Thai scoring as well now. Thanks very much. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye.